Hashtag Young Gang got her. y'all can't see her, but she definitely.
That was a big
yawned.
one.
Yeah. Hi there, honey. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, doing pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna learn about the Bible today. Are you ready to learn more about the Bible?
I am ready. What are you going to teach us about today?
Well, today we're going to be learning a little bit more about Jerry's story.
Okay.
But just to remind you, last time in the Bible, God gave Egypt to Nebuchadnezzar, or Nebi, as we affectionately call that dumbass here, for fucking up Tyre. But he only fucked up old Tyre and not the real Tyres. But today, King Lord Zedd is going to talk to Jerry, and Jerry has been talking a lot of shit. If you didn't know, Jerry is now in prison for breaking libel and slander laws against Israel. In his defense, Jerry said, "No, you," and was then in prison. So that was pretty much the entire court case of Jerry. It was a really short session there.
Yeah.
Lord King Zedd then gave him another chance to not shit talk, but Jerry fails to do that. Jerry asked Lord Zedd to explain what libel was, and Zedd didn't know, so he allowed Jerry to sleep in a common area and eat the leftover baguettes people left on their plates. Like those half-eaten little pieces of bread on the plates at like Panera and stuff.
Who half eats a piece of that? Like, I eat that shit first.
I use them to dip into the soup that I get from Panera because I love their broccoli cheddar soup. It's so we actually make it here at the house and it's so delicious. But anyways, yeah. So Jerry's now living in a common area that is also the dining area for a Panera bread, and he eats the half-eaten baguettes off of people's plates while he's out there. Anyways, officials heard about all of this and got really, really pissed off at Zedd. They thought that Jerry was trying to get people to stop buying all the meals that didn't include a baguette. I don't know what meals don't include baguettes there. Probably the pizzas. I don't think the pizzas have a baguette that come with them.
I mean, neither do the sandwiches.
Well, it depends on how you order them. Jerry just wanted everybody to order a baguette so he could have bread. Anyways, so they just straight up asked, said, "Hey, can you kill this motherfucker for us?" And that took Zedd by surprise, because Lord King Zedd just gave Jerry to the officials and was like, "Hey, you want him dead? Y'all kill him yourself. Just go right on ahead." And they didn't really have the stones to do that, so what they did was they forced him into a mud bath, but they didn't give him cucumbers over the eyes.
Rude.
Yeah, I know. It's like torture, I'm sure. Nice, warm mud bath, but he had to witness it all instead of staring at vegetables. Then someone told Zedd about this mud bath, and Zedd then rescued Jerry. I'm guessing he just tossed a whole bunch of pickles at him or something. Zedd then had Jerry come by his office and asked him a third time about all this slander and libel that he was spreading about Israel. Well, Jerry ended up fucking that up too, because he repeated exactly what he said before, that Babylon is going to fuck Israel up and everyone's going to die if they don't switch to Babylon's team. Zedd is so scared he shits himself while Jerry eats on a baguette that he stole from the common area.
What? Like so far beyond what we talked about.
Well, but he reassures Zedd that he's going to be okay, though. So, I mean, Zedd's going to be all right as long as he switches to the other team. Zedd then told Jerry to just shut the fuck up about all of this and don't you tell anyone you told me this shit. He said you should tell everyone that he was begging for more mud baths. He wanted more. Oh, sorry, no more mud baths. He doesn't want any more mud baths.
Well, I mean, if he has to watch it all, who would?
I know. Jerry then again failed a third, fourth, fifth, whatever fucking time Jerry has failed, and he went out and he told everyone that Zedd was a lying liar. He just lies all the time.
That's not what happened.
Jerry, I mean, is any of this what happened, honey?
No. Mm-mm.
Why are you just now complaining about it?
Complaining is my job.
That's not what happened. He also didn't eat baguettes, but you know.
He might have. He ate bread from the town. We don't know what shape it was in.
Yeah.
It could have been baguette.
For exposing Zedd for the lying liar that he is, Jerry was condemned to eating half-eaten baguettes once again. The end. And that's all you really need to know about this particular.
It's definitely not.
What?
No.
What kind of pizza do you think they had at that point in time? Do you think?
I don't know, but if they don't have Valentina's, if they didn't have Valentina's, they just weren't living.
Oh, okay. Nobody knows what we're talking about.
I don't care. I do.
It's a little local pizzeria around here, and apparently the guy that owns it or works there or something like that is really famous.
He's famous?
I mean, yeah, he's got a whole bunch of. He's got like a wall full of like awards and commendations and stuff. Like he's won like competitions with the pizza thing.
Okay, so he's won awards. He's not famous.
Well, I mean, I think he used to own a place called Famous Joe's. So
never heard of it.
I mean, I hadn't either. But then again, I hadn't heard of Valentina's either.
I mean, I think it's kind of weird if he's like so super famous that he's got this little hole in the wall pizza shop in North Alabama.
You know, I don't care. The pizza's delicious.
I know, right? It's fucking
yeah. What's up, heathens?
How y'all doing?
How you doing, honey?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I didn't cause too much of a headache with the opening, did I?
I mean, it was a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot, like, right with it?
No, no.
No?
Mm-mm. It was definitely on point for your traditional openings.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'm interested to see where we go today.
Okay, well, today we're going to dive back into Jeremiah. Last week we were in Ezekiel. We're going back and forth here. Next week we're going to get into some Kings and Chronicles. And so, you know, we're just bouncing all over, just telling the story, right?
Bouncing like a pogo stick. No. Slinky. Bouncing like a slinky.
Slinkies don't really bounce, do they? No, they kind of just like...
They hop upstairs. And
they don't go up. They go down.
Slinky. I bet you I could find a video of a slinky going upstairs.
I mean, if you hold it and throw it upstairs, sure.
I'm just imagining somebody with a slinky being like, watch the slinky go upstairs, and they just fucking chunk it at 90 miles an hour up the stairs. There, went up the stairs.
Okay. So anyway, it's kind of bouncing around, but that's what we have to do in order to tell the story chronologically, right? Okay. So Jeremiah 37 is where we're going to start today. You ready?
I am ready.
Okay. King Zedekiah, however, sent Jukal, son of Shelemiah, with the priest Zephaniah, son of Mesaiah, to Jeremiah the prophet with this message.
That's a lot of ayahs.
That is a lot of ayahs. There are a lot of names in this, in these two chapters.
Mm-hmm.
So bear with me because you know how terrible I am at them. But
is it like 75% of the letters are part of names?
Well, I mean, there's just a lot. And, you know, they have like their vowels are in weird orders. And so they make weird sounds. And I don't know how to speak Hebrew. Anyway. So Jeremiah the prophet with this message: please pray to Lord our God for us. That's the message. Pray for us. Now, Jeremiah was free to come and go among the people at this time, for he had not yet been put in prison. Pharaoh's army had marched out of Egypt, and when the Babylonians or Chaldeans, they always seem to mention that the Babylonians are also the Chaldeans, so everybody knows. You know,
anytime that I hear them referred to them as the Chaldeans, I think of like aliens, like it's an alien race of crustaceans. It's like, oh no, the Chaldeans are coming in their lobster fucking spaceship descending upon Israel.
So I was about to be like, yeah, I could see how Chaldean would be some kind of like alien race. And then you added like crustacean and I just lost it. Okay. When the Babylonians who were besieging Jerusalem heard the report about them, they withdrew from Jerusalem. Then the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah the prophet. This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. Tell the king of Judah, at this time that's Zedekiah, right?
Lord Zedd.
Yes. Who sent you to inquire of me. Pharaoh's army, which has marched out to support you, will go back to its own land, to Egypt. Then the Babylonians will return and attack this city, and they will capture it and burn it down. This is what the Lord says. Do not deceive yourselves, thinking the Babylonians will surely leave us. They will not. Even if you were to defeat the entire Babylonian army that is attacking you, and only wounded men were left in their tents, they would come out and burn this city down.
I feel like at this time, the Prophet Rangers would have tried to defeat Zedd.
Is this some kind of like Jew Power Ranger group?
Go, Prophet Rangers! And it's like Jerry would be the red power or Prophet Ranger.
Eazy-E would be green.
Yeah. And then like mysteriously at the end you have Elisha and Alicia show up.
Yeah.
As like the white and the green one.
We already had a green one. Or is Eazy-E like orange?
I don't think there was an orange Power Ranger.
I don't know what Power
He'd be
Rangers
yellow,
there were.
I think.
There was okay.
Anyways,
Power Rangers was not my. I didn't really watch TV growing up.
No, I mean I loved Power Rangers until they started adding a whole bunch of like weird shit in there.
Oh, did you get mad about the pink one because misogyny reasons?
The pink one?
Wasn't there a pink Power Ranger?
Well, there was a pink Power Ranger, and then it was a little racist.
The yellow one was Asian, wasn't she?
The yellow one was Asian.
I remember that.
The black one was black, and the blue one was a nerd. That's not exactly the greatest thing that they did. But when I mean weird, I mean like it's like Dino Power Zero Z level Power Ranger is kind of like it just got a little convoluted and weird for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, go ahead. She's
yeah.
like, I don't know how to go anywhere from here.
Yeah. I'm a little stuck here. Okay, we'll just continue reading. So they're gonna burn the city down no matter what. There's nothing you can do about it. The Babylonians will burn down Jerusalem. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we are. After the Babylonian army had withdrawn from Jerusalem because of Pharaoh's army, Jeremiah started to leave the city to go to the territory of Benjamin to get his share of the property among the people there. But when he reached the Benjamin gate, the captain of the guard, whose name was Irijah, son of Shelemiah, the son of Hananiah, arrested him and said, "You are deserting to the Babylonians."
I mean, I feel like in any other story, you would have like, oh, the guard at the gate did this. And instead, we've got like the entire
his genealogy
in order to name him. It's nowadays we're just like, oh, that's Stephen.
Yeah. So they think he's deserting Jeremiah, right?
Right.
That's not true, Jeremiah said. I'm not deserting to the Babylonians. But Irijah would not listen to him. Instead, he arrested Jeremiah and brought him to the officials. They were angry with Jeremiah and had him beaten and imprisoned in the house of Jonathan, the secretary, which they had made into a prison. Jeremiah was put into a vaulted cell in a dungeon there, where he remained a long time. Now, the officials in Judah, in Jerusalem, are upset with Jeremiah because he's prophesying that the Babylonians are going to destroy Jerusalem.
Right.
And of course, the other prophets, fake prophets, right, are blowing smoke up their ass and they're saying everything's fine. But it's not. Jeremiah is the only one who's saying that it's not. And they're punishing him for it every time he does it. But God tells him to do it, so he has to keep doing it.
They blowing smoke up their ass like they were a steam engine.
Sure, except the steam engine stuff is in the front, not the back.
Well, no, but like the steam comes out the front and goes in. Never mind. Just that one failed. That one, flop. Anyways, they're brown nosing.
Yeah. So anyway, then King Zedekiah sent for Jeremiah, and had him brought to the palace, where he asked him privately, "Is there any word from the Lord?" "Yes," Jeremiah replied, "you will be delivered to the hands of the king of Babylon."
That was the wrong thing to say there, Jerry.
Well, the thing is, King Zedekiah and Jeremiah have an interesting relationship. It's different. Zedekiah doesn't feel the same way about Jeremiah as the other officials do, which we're going to see some of, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then Jeremiah said to King Zedekiah, "What crime have I committed against you or your attendants or this people that you have put me in prison? Why are your prophets who prophesied to you, the king of Babylon will not attack you or this land? But now, my lord the king, please listen. Let me bring my petition before you. Do not send me back to the house of Jonathan the secretary," which is the dungeon that he was in, "or I will die there." King Zedekiah then gave orders for Jeremiah to be placed in the courtyard of the guard and given a loaf of bread from the street of the bakers each day until all the bread in the city was gone. So Jeremiah remained in the courtyard of the guard. So it was kind of like a house arrest situation.
Okay.
Versus being locked in a cell. He was not free to come and go. He was still imprisoned, but he was not in a dungeon.
But he could eat the baguettes.
He could eat the baguettes in the courtyard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Score.
So Shephatiah, son of Mattan, Gedaliah, son of Pashur, Jukal, son of Shelemiah, and Pashur, son of Malchijah, heard what Jeremiah was telling the people when he said, "This is what the Lord says, whoever stays in the city will die by the sword, famine, or plague, but whoever goes over to the Babylonians will live. They will escape with their lives, they will live. And this is what the Lord says, this city will certainly be given into the hands of the army of the king of Babylon, who will capture it." So all of these people that I named at the beginning, these are officials. These are officials of Jerusalem. They're like powerful men in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can you imagine if we had to go around today, like introducing each other or talking to each other, like using the same kind of annotation that they used?
I know, and that would be super weird because I was going to say I would have to do it using my father's name, but here's the thing. Nobody wants to hear from me because I'm a woman, so it wouldn't matter.
Yeah. I'm John, son of John.
Hey, it makes it easy.
Yeah, it's a little redundant.
It is. Yeah, that's all right. So these are officials, and not last time. I can't remember exactly which episode it was, but it was not very. It was recently that we, in the last few episodes, where we had this prophecy that whoever stays in the city will die by sword, famine, or plague. You remember that one?
Yeah.
But whoever goes, the Babylonians will live. So to the officials, what Jeremiah is saying here is that the Jews should defect to Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
Basically be traitors, right? Go over to Babylon and you'll live. Which again is not the intent. They go to Babylon so they can live. They're the remnant. The people who go to Babylon are the remnant. Some of them, right? Because they don't stay in the city, so they don't die. They go to live in Babylon for 70 years. That's the prophecy. And then the remnant will return. So it's not a traitorous type of situation, but that's how the officials at this time are taking it, right?
Yeah.
So the official said to the king, "This man should be put to death. He is discouraging the soldiers who are left in this city, as well as all the people, by the things he is saying to them. This man is not seeking the good of these people, but their ruin." So King Zedekiah kind of feels, even though he's king, he kind of feels powerless to go against all of these officials because they're really powerful, especially all together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Zedekiah doesn't put Jeremiah to death, but he says, "He is in your hands. The king can do nothing to oppose you." So Zedekiah gives Jeremiah over to the officials.
Right.
So they took Jeremiah and put him into the cistern of Malchijah, the king's son, which was in the courtyard of the guard. They lowered Jeremiah by ropes into the cistern. It had no water in it, only mud, and Jeremiah sank down into the mud. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So they put him into this giant freaking mud pit. But Ebed-Melech, the Cushite, who was one of the officials in the royal palace, heard that they had put Jeremiah into the cistern. While the king was sitting in the Benjamin gate, Ebed-Melech went out to the palace and said to him, "My lord the king, these men have acted wickedly in all they have done to Jeremiah the prophet. They have thrown him into a cistern where he will starve to death when there is no longer any bread in the city." Then the king commanded Ebed-Melech the Cushite to take 30 men from here with you and lift Jeremiah the prophet out of the cistern before he dies. So King Zedekiah, though he gave Jeremiah over to the officials, is now having one of the officials who is not agreeing with what's happening go and rescue him, right?
Right.
So Ebed-Melech took the men with him and went to a room under the treasury in the palace. He took some old rags and worn out clothes from there and let them down with ropes to Jeremiah in the cistern. Ebed-Melech the Cushite said to Jeremiah, "Put these old rags and worn out clothes under your arms to pad the ropes." Jeremiah did so, and they pulled him up with the ropes and lifted him out of the cistern. And Jeremiah remained in the courtyard of the guard. So he still stayed in house arrest, but now he wasn't in the mud pit. Okay. Then King Zedekiah sent for Jeremiah the prophet. We don't know how long in between. Jeremiah just remained in the courtyard, and then at some point, King Zedd sent for him and had him brought to the third entrance of the temple of the Lord. "I am going to ask you something," the king said to Jeremiah. "Do not hide anything from me." Jeremiah said to Zedekiah, "If I give you an answer, will you not kill me? Even if I did give you counsel, you would not listen to me," which I think is a fair criticism.
Yeah.
I mean, every time he says something, he gets put into prison or his life threatened or something. So he's like, you know what? Fuck y'all.
I mean, it would definitely behoove him not to say, I can see him looking around everywhere listen, I know if I tell you, you're going to fuck me up.
Yeah. But King Zedekiah swore an oath secretly to Jeremiah. He said, "As surely as the Lord lives, who has given us breath, I will neither kill you nor hand you over to those who want to kill you." So he just wants to know what's going to happen. And he wants to do it privately so that the officials don't have a fucking meltdown. And so Jeremiah's life isn't in danger, because it seems like Zedekiah believes Jeremiah, but the other officials do not. So Jeremiah said to Zedekiah, "This is what the Lord God Almighty, the God of Israel, says. If you surrender to the officers of the king of Babylon, your life will be spared and this city will not be burned down. You and your family will live. But if you will not surrender to the officers of the king of Babylon, this city will be given into the hands of the Babylonians and they will burn it down. You yourself will not escape from them." So Zedekiah seems, based on this prophecy that Jeremiah is giving him, to have two options. One, he can give up, give himself up, and he'll live, his family will live, the city will be spared, they're not going to burn it down, and everything is probably going to be okay, even though they're still going to take the city, they're not going to destroy it, right? Or he could not surrender and be a stubborn ass, and then he'll die there and the city will be burned. Okay. So King Zedekiah said to Jeremiah, "I am afraid of the Jews who had gone over to the Babylonians, for the Babylonians may hand me over to them and they will mistreat me." The people who have, as the officials put it, not put it, but as they're describing it, defected, right?
Right.
So he's afraid of them. And Jeremiah replied, "They will not hand you over. Obey the Lord by doing what I tell you. Then it will go well with you and your life will be spared. But if you refuse to surrender, this is what the Lord has revealed to me. All the women left in the palace of the king of Judah will be brought out to the officials of the king of Babylon. Those women will say to you, 'They misled you and overcame you, those trusted friends of yours. Your feet are sunk in the mud. Your friends have deserted you. All your wives and children will be brought out to the Babylonians. You yourself will not escape from their hands, but will be captured by the king of Babylon, and this city will be burned down.'"
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck them up, huh?
It seems like a pretty simple choice. It seems like the best course of action here is to surrender.
I mean, I would think so.
Yeah. Then Zedekiah said to Jeremiah, "Do not let anyone know about this conversation, or you may die. If the officials hear that I talk to you, and they come to you and say, 'Tell us what you said to the king and what the king said to you,' do not hide it from us, or we will kill you. Then tell them, I was pleading with the king not to send me back to Jonathan's house to die there." So Zedekiah is saying, if somebody comes and asks you about us talking, this is what you need to tell them. Don't tell them what we talked about. Tell them this instead. Right? So, of course, all of the officials did come to Jeremiah and question him, and he told them everything the king had ordered him to say. So they said no more to him, for no one had heard the conversation with the king. So it worked. He lied. The officials asked. He lied and said what the king told him to, and they left him alone.
Right.
And Jeremiah remained in the courtyard of the guard until the day Jerusalem was captured.
Okay.
And that is the end of today's lesson.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Next episode it's important.
Oh.
In the story. We're going to go back. We're going to go back into 2 Kings. We're going to have some Jeremiah. There's a lot of bits and pieces together. There's some from 2 Chronicles in here. Let's see what else we have. Mainly 2 Kings, 2 Chronicles, and Jeremiah is what we're getting next time.
Okay.
But we have the fall of Jerusalem.
Okay.
So, I mean, do you want me to talk about what happens, or do you want to just leave it at that, the fall of Jerusalem, and that's what we're going to go over?
I want it to be a surprise.
Okay. So the fall of Jerusalem, there's also some census information that happens. So that's, something.
Okay.
And we'll go over all of that next time on the Bible.
Awesome. I cannot wait for the fall of Jerusalem. Those fucks are going to get it so hard. Well, if y'all want to join us for the fall of Jerusalem, you'll have to tune in next week. But until then, why don't you guys leave a comment down below? We'd love to hear what you guys think about today's Bible study. I mean, honestly, I think the half-eaten baguettes was a pretty good deal considering how much shit Jerry was in.
They weren't half-eaten. He got a whole loaf every day.
I mean, we don't really know that, do we?
I mean, no, but that's what the story says.
Does the story say that he didn't eat the half-eaten baguettes?
They never said anything about half-eaten baguettes.
Okay, well, it sounds like they didn't say he didn't eat those, so...
They said he was given a whole loaf of bread. Where was he going to get baguettes? He was in house arrest. Where's he going to get them?
He was roaming around the courtyard. There
weren't other normal people in the courtyard.
I mean, we don't know that. Anyways, let us know what you think down below in the comments. I better stop while I'm ahead. And
are you ahead though?
But we will see you heathens next week. Don't forget to like the video. That really helps us out here. And make sure you subscribe if you want more Bible studies in your news feed.
Yeah.
And
as always, don't forget to stand up and use your voice.
Bye, heathens.
Bye, y'all.